National title game tonight. I went bracket busted, Jack. Both of my picks off. I had Illinois. I had Arizona. Neither happened on Saturday. Pretty ugly. But I'll say this look, we know Dan Hurley's the best coach in the game right now. Dan Hurley, whether you like him or not, he's a little bit surly, kind of like Gino Ariam. I don't know what's going on at UConn. They're kind of surly, those Northeastern guys. But Dan Hurley's a really good basketball coach. And case in point on this, Jack, what they did to Illinois, Illinois twice this year has been held under 65 points in a basketball game, both times against UConn. Back in their November matchup and then again on Saturday. You realize going into the game on Saturday, the early game, Illinois and UConn, Jack, we talk about the KenPom ratings and the KenPom metrics a lot. Not only was Illinois going into that game the best offense in the country this year in college basketball, rated by KenPom, the best offense in the country, but their offense rated number one all-time in his efficiency ratings back to 1997 with their positional height and their shooting, because they've got 5 guys on the floor that are all 6'6" or taller. They spread the floor and they can all shoot. Well, against Dan Hurley's team twice this year, they haven't been able to shoot. It was Brick City. And meanwhile, UConn was red hot from the three-point stripe on their end, and they win the basketball. It really was about threes. UConn made them. Illinois did not. But you have to give their defense credit because they've done it twice to them. How about this, Jack? The Illinois offense, which was number one in the country and number one all-time in KenPom, they shot 32.6% from the floor. They shot 22% from three. That ain't going to get it done. But that's the best offense in the country. But they couldn't shoot against UConn. So UConn will have a chance. They'll have a game plan tonight. Dan Hurley's too good, and that team's too talented. But are they as good as Michigan? I don't know what to say about the game. It's like UCLA boat racing South Carolina yesterday on the women's side. That was just ridiculous what Michigan did to Arizona. That was for the title, in my opinion. I said that a lot last week. That was for the championship, and it was not close. It was not close. And much like I thought Texas's women got a little bit spooked by the size of UCLA, I absolutely think Arizona got spooked by the size of Michigan.
Felt like it.
You can watch film, but then you get out there and you see Ade Mara at 7'3", altering shots, the length of their team, and you're like, wow. And Arizona got a little bit spooked by it, I felt like. But then there's this guy, Dusty May, this head coach, who I really, really like. I think everybody really likes him, but he's only in his second year. He took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. And this guy can flat coach. He's from Bloomington, went to Indiana, was a GA there and has risen. He's only 49 years old. But think about some of the stuff he did. You know, early in that game against Arizona, they understood that Arizona's got size. Arizona's really big down low. Like 3 different times on set plays, the Cadeau, the point guard, was throwing lobs off the backboard. So instead, think about this. The idea, okay, we're going to crash the boards, but their size are going to prevent our penetration, and they're going to block shots. So Cadeau was just putting it up off the backboard. And then it would come off the backboard like a lob, and here comes the dunk. Here comes the play behind it. But that was not unintentional. That's pretty good scouting. That's pretty good coaching. You know, how often do you see a coach, hey, lob it off the backboard, we're going to crash, they're going to all jump to block the shot.
That's right.
And the rebound's going to be ours. They did that several times, but then slow down the block shots. Tommy Lloyd's trying to make adjustments. This guy, Dusty May. Also, the idea, let's play this from the audio, and then I want your thoughts, Jack. Here they are talking about it on the broadcast. They took a basketball goal into the big house. Into the big house. Like at the football stadium. And they started doing this way long ago. This was not anything new. They went to shoot baskets at the big house to work on depth perception because they knew if they got to the Final Four, it was going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium in a football arena. And they've been working on it. I think that's pretty sharp. That's pretty good. Am I wrong? And you know, they got video of it, and Dusty May says that because they really like their team that they built, they were building April habits all offseason, including bringing a basketball goal into their football stadium to practice shooting in a basketball arena or in a football arena. I think that's pretty high level. I like this guy, Dusty May. You a fan?
I think he's a great coach. I mean, he took FAU to the Final Four, and sometimes you see these guys take the step up to the next level, to these high majors. I mean, Shaka Smart, Porter Moser, doesn't always work out. And Tommy Lloyd, it's fair to say it's working out. He's in a national title game in year 2.
Yeah, here's that CBS report. Tracy Wolfson on the court side, talking about the April habits they've built, and now they're playing in April, deep into April now for the national title.
And both Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd have experience coaching in the Final Four. Tommy Lloyd was an assistant at Gonzaga. He went to 2 Final Fours under Mark Few, and the two are extremely close. They talked often this week, saw each other yesterday. Mark Few's message to Lloyd: just be yourself. Don't stray away from what got you here. As for Dusty May, he took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four in 2023, and he told me that experience certainly helps in terms of preparation and how he handled this week. They believed all along they were going to be here. They developed April habits early. He also said they've been preparing all season long for this depth perception, and they rolled a basketball hoop out into the big house this week so the players can work on shooting with this odd perception in this arena.
That's interesting to me. I don't think I've ever seen they've been playing these Final Fours and these championship games in basketball arenas or football arenas for a long time. Maybe that's happened before and we just didn't know, but that's pretty shrewd on Dusty May's part. Good basketball coach, and he's got a hell of a team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that can create some weird glare and weird angles. I remember hearing about that.
Oh, yeah, depth. I mean, you're used to basketball gyms are intimate.
Sure.
You go to the Moody Center. I mean, everything's surrounded. You get to those things. They're massive. If you've ever been to a game as a fan, you don't know if you're watching basketball or volleyball from the back row. Mm-hmm. You don't even know what you're watching. It's so far away. That is a different element. And, you could argue that it impacted Illinois in their shooting, or you give UConn credit, or it impacted, the teams that shot well. I don't know. But at the same time, his team was preparing for it.
That's right. And that's smart. I remember hearing about that during like the COVID bubble and all that, where they would put backdrops up instead of having stands, and some guys just could not get used to it. So I'm sure shooting in a bigger arena can also mess with how you're feeling. The crowd might be further away, or just the light may be hitting the backboard at a certain way, and it can mess you up. Or some guys, I'm sure, they took right to it. But credit to Dusty May. I mean, they
came out very confident.
Yeah, put it in the big house.
And some will say Illinois or Arizona was distracted because Tommy Lloyd was flirting with North Carolina, and that was part of it. I just think they got outplayed, and they got spooked by. I just thought the overall aggressiveness of Michigan. And look, far be it from me, a son of Northeast Ohio, Jack, originally, first 8 years of my life were in Ohio. I don't have any love for Michigan, that team up north. And if wish nowhere we're still here, you'd be talking about Michigan. But credit where credit is due, because a lot of people nationally are saying, well, this was the best team the portal could buy, right? The money could buy, Michigan's money. Well, a lot of teams are spending a lot. Kentucky spent $22 million on their payroll. Where are they? Right? A lot of teams. North Carolina's got an expensive payroll. Michigan went into the portal with a second-year head coach and identified the right players. Yaxel Lendenberg, do you think he plays tonight? I think he says he's going to go.
I mean,
he's going to run it out there.
Him up full of
but he's an NBA guy. Look, Yaxel Lendenberg, he was at UAB, and he was considered one of the top players in the portal when he jumped in the portal. But he was trying to debate whether he was going to go to the NBA or not. But he didn't go to the NBA because his projection, they weren't sure, because at UAB, you realize there he was playing center most of the time because he was the tallest player on their roster. Well, he gets to Michigan, and they move him over to a traditional, NBA wing, where he can play 3 and D and show what his versatility is. And now the NBA is like, oh, we like this guy. That's his game. He was playing center for University of Alabama, Birmingham. And this is where the portal allowed a guy to go and flourish. Elliot Cadeau, the point guard who was so good in the game on Saturday, he was a ballyhooed 5-star recruit, but he was playing for North Carolina. He was playing for Hubert Davis. And some will tell you in Chapel Hill, Jack, they ran him out of town. They were so critical of him. Too many turnovers, erratic, 5-star, not living up to it. And sometimes in that North Carolina bubble, that can happen. Well, he got into the portal, and they jumped on him. So now they had their wing, premier wing in Lendenborg, and then they had Cadeau at point. And then, you're watching this guy, Ade Mara, 7'3", the Spaniard.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's in Mick Cronin's doghouse.
Yeah, he barely played at UCLA. He's setting screens at UCLA. And, Dusty May saw him and said, we can do more with him. Well, that guy was the dominant force of the game. He was unbelievable. He was playing 13 minutes a game for UCLA. And again, guys mature, guys develop, but it also takes a coach and a staff with vision for, okay, this is how we see you. That guy was great. And then there's the kid, the sophomore forward, Morez Johnson Jr. He played like 16 minutes at Illinois. He was right there in the Big Ten. So, sure, they spent money, but they spent money wisely. And the right pieces that fit to go with what they already had. 4 key portal guys. There are 4 their starting 5 players. But that's well done. Again, you got a guy in Yaxel Lendenborg who's playing center at UAB, but you see that he's got 3-and-D capability, moves to the wing. Cadeau's running the point at a very high level. That pick and roll with Mara is just ridiculous. And if that was the best two teams, which we thought going in, there really is no doubt. And then it comes back to this game tonight where Michigan has been installed as a 7.5-point favorite. That's a lot, Jack. Against a team looking to win their third national title in 4 years, will you?
Yeah. I mean, I might pick UConn.
To win the game?
You're picking against Dan Hurley in a March Madness game?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, I don't know. I'm with you leaning the points. Points are a lot. The projection were 5.5, but because they were so overwhelming in the win over Arizona, it bumped up 2 points real fast. So it's sitting at 7.5. But I'll just say this. If they shoot threes like they did, whether it was the depth perception thing, if they shoot like that, but that's the other thing about UConn. They shot the lights out against Illinois. They were really good from deep. This is a fun game tonight. I hate, on a good, bad, and ugly Monday, I hate that you have to wait till 8 o'clock for the tip time.
Gross.
What are we doing? I say this every single year on Monday, the day of the game. I understand you want your East Coast or West Coast audience, but 8 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Eastern time for a tip for the biggest game of the year is bonkers.
Yeah, I mean,
8 o'clock here is bonkers.
I feel like living on the West Coast would probably be pretty sweet as a sports fan.
I don't want to pay those taxes, though.
Everything's done by 10.
I know. No, I get
Even
it.
the NFL, like all of it.
But what other sport does this? Where they put, I understand you want to get as much time zone friendliness as you can. Nobody else starts a major event 9 o'clock East Coast. No. Nobody.
I mean, let's do our championship games at 8 p.m. on Mondays.
Why?
And the women's stuff will bury at the worst possible time, 2 p.m. on a Sunday.
2:30 Sunday. Well, at least I thought that was more accessible.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you got to work around Easter dinner or whatever, but at the same time the TV can be on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a better 8 o'clock on a Monday night coming off of the Easter weekend. Come on. And they do it every year. They never, I don't know, but they know more than I do, without a doubt. Do you like it out there that you got to wait till all the way to 8 o'clock? And they don't do anything. Like from 7 to 8, they're like doing walk down March Madness lane. Yeah. They're not even doing anything.
Am I going to be able to stay up for one shining moment? I want to see Tremont Mark's game winners on those things.
Yeah, Tremont Mark against, go way back to the play-in game, Jordan Pope. But, yeah.
Cam Heidi.
I never stay. I have to come back in and watch it on repeat the next morning at 4 in the morning. I don't know. I don't get it. Never have gotten it. But, yes, and it's not even 8. It's like 8:07. By the time they do the national anthem and the standing, the national anthem and all of it, it's like, oh my gosh, come on, people. All right, and again, I don't think anybody likes it. Who likes it? West Coast? Well, we got a Midwest team and an East Coast team playing at 9 o'clock on Eastern time zone after 8 here in Austin.